Now we're gonna push it out just a little bit, Curtis, so that 3/4 of an inch. Yep, keep going. There you go, there you go. Hey, all right. Okay, now that we've installed our soffit panels and our fillers, we went ahead and installed all of our 2x4 tie plates the whole way across. After we did that, we picked up our Simpson strong ties, and then following the instructions, we measured from left to right, remembering that our first measurement was 21 3/8 by butting the tape measure up against the end of the gable right here, measuring 21 3/8. And then once we set this first one, we just set the tape measure on that mark and then measured every 24 inches from there. Now we're gonna set the trusses. Process of setting all of our trusses. We're gonna show you how this goes in. You're gonna slide it into the Simpson strong tie on one side. You're gonna flush the end of the truss out with the end of the wall. We're gonna do one side at a time. Once we attach the Simpson strong tie to the truss on one side, we're gonna move to the other side and make sure that the wall may or may not need to be pushed in or pulled out so it flushes out. An important thing to note when you're installing the Simpson strong ties is that you're using the actual joist hanger nails that came with the kit. Okay, as you can see, we've set all of our roof trusses. Next, we had to find all of our soffit blocks, which are these 2x4 blocks that look like this. Now it's time to install the fascia board. Okay, when installing the fascia board, you're gonna see that we flushed it out on the left end, and then we used a straight edge provided. We came off of one side of the truss, and we're just making sure that with this laying flush on top of the truss, that our fascia board just comes up and just touches the bottom of this. Okay, now that our first piece of fascia is installed, we're gonna gather our second 72-inch piece and start the second piece. Okay, for our last piece of fascia on the front, we have a shorter piece that we actually have to cut to fit. But first, don't forget to grab your little filler block. You're going to install your filler block on the end like this. Then you're gonna set your fascia board up like this. Mark it on the back side and cut it to fit. Okay, now that our front fascia is done, we're gonna duplicate those steps and install the fascia on the back. Start our roof sheeting. A couple things that we have to make sure, and it's imperative that we pay attention to these measurements. If you remember, when we set our first truss, it was 21 3/8 inches to this edge. As we're setting our roof sheeting, the first thing that we did was we wanted to make sure that we plumbed the outside gable. Once we plumbed it, we tacked the outside edge of the roof sheeting. Once we did that, we then measured from the edge of the gable over to our truss, making sure it was 21 3/8 of an inch, and then we tacked it. Once we tacked it, we hooked it, and if you remember, we then went 24 inches the whole way across. We're gonna do the same thing as we're setting our roof sheeting to make sure that everything's lining up right in the center of each one of the trusses as the sheets come together. Yep. Okay, so we're currently working on sheeting the roof. We have the front of the building completely sheeted, but I just wanted to slow down and make a couple notes for you. When we're doing our sheeting, the one thing that we had to double check was we had to make sure that our gable was plumbed before we started fastening our sheeting. That way, once we plumbed our gable, then again, same as before when we were framing our roof, we measured over 21 3/8 of an inch. And I'm doing that same thing before we nail the sheeting to each one of the roof trusses. If the roof trusses are moved around just a little bit, next thing you know, the sheeting will not line up evenly on the overlap, if that makes sense. Our first measurement was 21 3/8. Once we made that measurement, we then hooked it, and I'm going 24 inches to the inside. I'm gonna do it again, 24 inches to the inside, and I'm gonna continue this the whole way across until we've completely sheeted this side of the roof. Okay, now it's time to install the gable trim. First, we're gonna start with the keystone. We're going to line each edge, the left and right edges, up with the top of the roof sheeting and install it.